Antes de comenzar, si tienen sus instrumentos de interpretación, por favor, préndanlos si no están prendidos ya. Y ahorita si podemos hacer un test, si escuchan a la persona que está interpretando, levanten su mano si escuchan a la persona que está interpretando español. Muy bien, perfecto. Thank you. We're good. I just gave the instructions for interpretation for those who didn't understand. Let's get started. Before we do so, I want to do some housekeeping. So just letting you know, for some of you, this might be a new space. So if you need to use the restroom or you need to know anything regarding the space for your care or for your safety, please refer to our floor team, which are the people doing the registration outside. And if there are any floor team members inside here, if you could raise your hand, please. So you can, reach out to people outside or people inside who just raised their hand. And also, let us know if you're having any trouble. So I will introduce myself. My name is Adriana Velázquez. I am co-director of Parent Engagement Institute, and I will let Jeff introduce himself.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Bartow. I'm the director of Swop.
Thank you, Jeff. And we will be co-chairing today's action. So why are we here, right? Swop is about building collective power. And we do that by engaging with each other and building strong public relationships that allow us to act collectively and stand for what we believe should be our futures, what our families deserve, and that includes thriving, successful, fully funded schools in our neighborhoods. Isn't that? So, for a long time, there has been a group of people that make decisions on how our school run in Chicago. I will talk a little bit more about that group's responsibility so you know the extent of the impact. But for the very first time, we, the people, get to elect half of this body called the school board of the district of CPS, right? Chicago Public Schools. This elected school board before has been selected by the mayor all years. And this is the first election that we are back to have an elected school board. That is a very big deal. We'll elect half of the people, so 10 representatives, and then over the next election in the couple years, we'll get to elect everyone on the school board. Isn't that amazing? So that's why we're here, because we recognize once we heard about this election, hey, this is something we can actually act on and brings the power back to how we envision our schools. There's a lot of work that has been done prior to today that led us here. The first thing was at our last Action Council, as leaders, we recognized that the elected school board was an opportunity to act and that not many of us knew what the process was or who is running. And we decided to continue to follow up and inform ourselves about how we can be a part of the voice. And so we had info sessions at Swop, we talked to leaders interested, and we developed curiosity over what these candidates might be running for. We also, at the same time, did a lot of parallel work with the Parent Mentor Program through the Parent Engagement Institute. This is a statewide effort that met together citywide with over 19 organizations, hundreds of schools, and hundreds of parent mentors to deliver what each other's interests were and come up with common pillars or priorities. Out of those pillars, we made a questionnaire of what we care for that our candidates were able to answer to for today. And we decided to have a candidates forum to hear more about these candidates and really understand and make an informed decision about who we should be voting for. And so I just want to name all that work and thank everyone who's been a part of that. And also, again, name these board members' responsibilities. So let me read them to you because they are really, really important. So these board members' responsibilities include hiring and evaluating the CEO, establishing the direction, goals, and priorities for the district, approving important things like district policies, purchasing decisions, contracts, and intergovernmental agreements, as well as approving the district budget and capital improvement plan, the school year calendar, the school continuous improvement plan, school actions, school charters and contracts, right? Approving the dismissal of teachers, principals, tenured teachers, and also non-probationary educational support personnel. Those are a lot of really big responsibilities, don't you think? And so we don't take this lightly. Previously, we didn't have a choice. Now we do, and we're very excited that this allows us to be a part of the fight, again, in the process to build the schools of our dreams and what we want to see. So I will pass it now to Jeff Bartu to give a little more of the context.
I want to take us through the process that we literally went through inviting people here tonight. We reached out the last week in August and the first week in September, identifying the candidates from Districts 7, 8, and 9. We've had at least 3 written forms of communication with them over the last couple of weeks. In District 7, we reached out to Eva Villalobos, who confirmed. We learned yesterday when we reached out to her that she was not attending. In District 7, we also reached out to Yesenia Lopez, who's here this evening. Thank you for being with us. We sought to connect with Raquel Don and just didn't get a response. In District 8, we reached out to Angel Gutierrez, who confirmed. When we reached out to him yesterday, he indicated he wasn't attending. We also reached out to Felix Ponce, who responded to us immediately saying that he had a conflict and he would try to change things. He did try to change things. There was follow-up with him. He was unable to be here, but he's indicated he really wants to try to talk to us. In District 9, we reached out to Lynetta Thomas, who also indicated she could not attend. We reached out to Mikkel Lewis, who confirmed, and then a week ago said he would not be able to be here this evening. We reached out to Therese Boyle, who said from the beginning that she could not attend. We reached out to Lamont Williams, who said he would do his best to be here, and he's here this evening. I go through this process because central to what we do at Swop is teaching the comportment that's necessary for effective public life. And trust and accountability are really central values that we want to model, and they're central to the expectations we have. We know we all fall short, but we also know we hold each other accountable. So that's why I gave the explanation that I did. Now I think we can move into the questions that we have. Okay?
One-to-ones.
Yes. We want to make sure that the candidates get a sense of what swap culture is and is like. So we're going to be really tight on time, but you know that if you come to a swap meeting, there's generally an expectation that you take some time to look for someone you don't know and engage them, not in chit-chat, but in actual conversation for, in this evening, 5 minutes. So please, if you look around for someone you don't know or don't know well and initiate a conversation, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I know.
I enjoyed reading about you. I don't think I've met you before. But,
I worked with Swop a little bit when I was in insurance.
oh, okay, great. Okay, yeah.
I don't think we've met.
It was good because your name was really familiar, and then I saw your picture, and I think I've seen you again. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, okay. Good. You're welcome. What's that? This is like 5 minutes if you want to circulate. Yeah. You might just start. You said a minute, about 30 seconds ago. I need for people to, let's come back from the one-to-ones. Please wind up your meetings and we'll come back to the forum. Let's go ahead and get started and move back into the meeting. How was that? I think there may be some conversations you want to follow up and continue to have with people, so make sure you connect at the end of the meeting and exchange information. At this point, we're going to move back into the meeting.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone, for engaging relationally. This is the way that we build power, right? We build allies, we build on common interests, and that's how we get change done. So now, for the part of the forum, we first want to recognize the candidates that are here. Thank you for being present, and I will introduce them very briefly. We have here with us Yesenia Lopez from District 7, a Latino Outreach Director with Governor J.B. Pritzker's campaign. And we have Lamont Williams from District 9, Chief of Staff and General Counsel for Cook County Commissioner Bill Lowry from District 9 again. So thank you for being here, and I will now pass it to Ana Laura Narro and Tanisha Payne to lead on this candidate forum.
Thank you, Adriana. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanisha Payne, and I am a part of the Parent Mentor Program.
And good evening, everyone. My name is Ana Laura Narro, and I'm also part of the Parent Engagement Institute, the Parent Mentor Program with Swop.
So here's how this will work. There will be 4 questions, 2 minutes per question. Carlos will be the timekeeper. There will be a 30-second warning and a time's up warning as well. There will be a 5th question that will only require a yes or no answer. At the end of the full round of questions, you will be given 2 minutes for a final statement. We will hold you accountable for your 2 minutes. Ana Laura will ask the first question.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Lopez. Thank you, Mr. Williams, to be here with us. So remember, you have 2 minutes to answer your question. We will hold the mic. And the first question is, as a board member, how will you work to move an issue or initiative raised by parents or community members to become a policy and be passed by the board?
Ms. Lopez.
Thank you for the question, and thank you for the invitation. For me, a lot of it is hearing what the representation for the district, what are the takes on that on the community, and what are the potential impacts. If it's something that the community supports, then it's how do I work in coalition with other board members. This is going to be, as mentioned, a 21 board member. So it's going to be large, right? How do we work in coalition to make sure that the policies that are being passed that will have a positive impact in our communities? And if it's something that is not going to be a positive in my community saying that I need to vote against it, then how can we address that if it could be change or not be in support of?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So in my role as Chief of Staff and General Counsel now, I work with all different kinds of groups and all different organizations to bring ideas into action, into policy. So I'm just going to leave you all with these 3 things: transparency, collaboration, communication. Transparency, it's a 2-way street. I'll be beholden to you, but I need you all to come with me, so that therefore they know exactly what it is that we need on the ground so I can take it to the CPS board level. Collaboration, no one person can do it by themselves. While I might represent you on the board, I don't know everything and all the issues that are going on, so I'm really going to need my communities to be behind me and communicating with me, letting me know, Lamont, this is an issue. And last is communication. I'm here. Yesenia is here. Communication is important, making sure that you all see us and can speak to us, and that way we can be effective in taking any ideas, any issues that the community has, turning it into an action item, and then turning it into policy.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you. So the second question would be, in our questionnaire, you said that you saw a role for community organizations in helping to shape improvements in education. How will you practically implement this as a board member? Specify what policies or procedures would you work to put into place? For example, are there groups, partners, or organizations you think have potential to contribute to a healthier school system, and how could you work for those groups?
No, so the answer kind of is in the question. I think when you're looking at partnering with these different organizations, you want to make sure that they have an easier time accessing CPS and working with CPS. I work in county government. I understand the frustration that constituents have with the red tape of just trying to get a permit or something as simple. And I can only imagine how difficult it can be with organizations. So without naming a specific organization, let's say that we had a non-for-profit that provided healthy food. Well, we know our children deserve healthy food, and they need healthy food in order to concentrate and give their best in the classroom. What I want to do as a board member is make sure that we are instituting policies that allow us to not only vet these organizations, but allow these organizations to service the communities in which they operate. It takes a village, and like I said, the CPS board by itself, CPS as a district by itself, isn't going to answer or solve all the issues. It's going to take us working with these different nonprofit organizations and allowing them access, vetting them, making sure that they are doing the work that they're supposed to do, and then encouraging that collaboration so that they can help service our children. And my slogan for my entire campaign fits nicely with this question. Our students deserve better, and I think when we collaborate and work with these other not-for-profits, these other organizations that offer these services that CPS, quite frankly, may not offer, that is us being active and making sure that our students deserve and receive better.
Ms. Lopez?
For me, this is a life experience. I started, after graduating from DePaul University, I became a community organizer in Little Village, working with nonprofits in the area. And that's when I learned that that's how I was learning more from the community, from here and working with parents and also students, teachers, and the nonprofits, because you guys are the experts. You guys are seeing the things, what's happening day to day in the life of the student or the teacher or in the school. So it's how do we build those coalitions and continue communication? And then going back, if there's a topic that is an area of expertise, for example, parent mentors, right? Swop has a long history of being established in the community and the number of parents that they know. And that's thinking about like how can we strategically be able to continue working in collaboration with the nonprofits. I've also worked with nonprofits in schools providing after-school programming for students because we know oftentimes because of budget limitations, maybe therapy counseling is not available to our students directly through CPS. How do we build those partnerships with our local nonprofits where we bring those services where the community is? The community should not be going around trying to figure out where the appointments are or whatnot. Is we got to meet the community where they are.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez.
Thank you. So the third question will be, what would you do to ensure the schools are a safe and strong learning environments while not criminalizing young people?
It's something that we know, right, in our communities. I was born and raised in the Southwest Side, Pilsen, and then Gage Park. And the important is going back, how do we make sure that our students and our parents and teachers have a safe environment where they can learn and they don't have to be worried about what might happen in the classroom or within the school context. So a lot of it is working in community. We know that there are different, projects and programs like Safe Passage that CPS already implements. So let's have a conversation. What does the community believe is working, and what are other areas that we can also further look into? But we also need to focus about mental health services, the nurses in the schools, because we've seen the rise after the pandemic, after COVID-19, that has had on our families because of the people they've lost, loved ones, including myself. I lost family members due to COVID, and also the many students that were removed from the classroom setting, and they need that support. So how can we bring in those resources to work with our teachers and our families to provide the resources that they need in the classroom? And also after school programming, going back to it, I think that's a key area for our students.
Thank you.
So I'm born and raised on the south side. I was joking earlier that if I'm on the other side of the Nabisco Bridge, so I smell those chocolate chip cookies all the time. My mom still lives over there. So for me, this is lived experience as well. I went to high school in Lincoln Park. And when I lived out here, but traveled to Lincoln Park every day for 4 years to attend high school. So how would I want to make school or CPS a safer environment for everyone else? Show of hands if you're a parent. Everybody in the audience, show of hands if you're a parent. Show of hands if you're a student. Show of hands if you attended CPS at some point. Okay? Show of hands if you just attended school in general. You all are our subject matter expert. I want to hear from students what makes them feel safe in school. I want to hear from parents what do they think should be implemented in school for the safety of their children. I want to hear from teachers. I want to hear from staffers. CPS introduced the whole school safety plan. I believe it has some very excellent, well thought out recommendations. A lot of that focuses on mental health. A lot of that focuses on making sure we provide resources for our students in that capacity. My role on the board is to make sure that we are responsibly resourcing and funding plans like the whole school safety plan, and then coming back, like I said, transparency, communication, collaboration, talking to you all and getting your feedback to make sure that we're doing the best that we can for our students. Because again, you're going to hear me say this all day, our students deserve better.
Thank you. So the fourth question is, what are your thoughts on pipelines, policies, or procedures that can move necessary resources for CPS schools?
Me? I went second last time. Yes. I was gonna say, I'll be a gentleman and defer, would you? So could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
So the question is, what are your thoughts on pipelines, policies, or procedures that can move necessary resources to CPS schools?
Thank you for that question, because that is one of the things that I'm most passionate about running for this position. So by the time you all leave tonight, I'm going to leave you all with some literature about myself. One of the things that you'll see is that my second point on my policy agenda is I want to confront the $505 million currently projected budget deficit. They think it's going to go up even higher than that. So how do we combat that? How do we implement policies to make sure that we have resources available? Well, I'm an attorney, and I'm a big proponent of follow the rules, follow the law, obey the law. We have a law right now in Illinois on the books that says that the Illinois lottery is supposed to be allocated 100% to public education. When I started researching and preparing for this run, I looked that up. I said, well, if the lottery, which I know, shoot, my people sometimes buy a scratch off here and there, they should be able to fund and cover this. As of last fiscal year in Illinois, only 35% of the revenue that was generated from the Illinois lottery went to public education, and that's statewide. That's not even including just CPS. So if we went from 100% to just 35%, imagine how much more we could do if we just followed the law. So that's when you're talking about pipeline policies and things that could really help resource CPS. It's not always about passing new legislation and new policy. Sometimes it's about revisiting the old ones that are still on the books and making sure that we actually follow them. So as representative of the 9th District, with all of your support, hopefully, that's going to be one of my priorities, is making sure we follow the rules that we set forth. I don't care how old they are. If they're good, we need to follow them because our students deserve better.
It goes back to something I had mentioned before of building those partnerships, right? Whether it be, we're looking at, yes, we need more revenue for CPS, right? And looking at while we wait and figuring out what is the best next approach of bringing directly that revenue is how do we build those partnerships with the nonprofits that are already, doing the work, or that are able to also establish pipelines for our students into the workforce. And I know, like, for example, the pipeline for the parents to be able to be in the classroom, get paid to be supportive of teachers. So it's identifying those partnerships and coalitions. Going back to the funding, right? We're looking at primarily CPS funding of 3 streams at the local level in the city of Chicago, and then at the state level, and then we have the federal level. The federal level, there's already money that gets trickled through the state. With the state, it's something that I'm proud of, saying that I've been able to build relationships through my work with different caucuses, and it's how do we work over where, especially those representatives, senators that might not live in Chicago or represent Chicago, but they have a say by voting and passing the budget in Springfield, that understand our stories, right? And how do we partner up with local organizations that we can go to Springfield and tell them those stories of what their vote means to our students here in the community. Thank you.
And now we are on our final question, and remember this question requires only a yes or no. And the question is, will you commit to meet with us at Swop within the first 3 months on the board?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that commitment, and we'll follow up for that commitment that you just said. Yes, thank you for both of you. Now we're going to ask each of you to please make a final statement, no longer than 2 minutes. And Tanisha will hold the mic. I will hold the mic too. Please be mindful of our timekeeper, Carlos, and wrap it up your statement on time.
Okay.
Mentioned Yesenia Lopez. I am a proud daughter of immigrants. You know, my parents came to this country seeking better opportunities, not necessarily for themselves, but for me, my brother, and my sister. My parents have a, formal education, 3rd grade and 6th grade, because they got pulled out of the education system to work the fields in Mexico. That being said, I know because of my public school education, proud graduate from Benito Juarez and Pickard School, that I was able to and continue to reach my potential. And we need to bring that mindset into this board, is how can we support our students and our parents so the students can fulfill, their potential, be able to do what they want to do in their careers or go into the trades. And it's how do we work together in this? This is going to take a community, and I'm proud to say that I have the support of the working class community, because that's where I come from and that's my representation. So one item that I would like to ask for everyone, of course, your support, but after this, talk to your neighbors. Talk even to your neighbors that might say, I don't have a kid in CPS right now. Why should I care about this? Let them know that this is going to be a historic race, that they have a vote, and that it will shape the life of the students in our future generation.
Thank you.
So we want to thank you, both of you, for being here with us. Thank you for your answers. No? Oh my God.
I didn't get my final statement.
Yes, you have to do. I apologize. Yes, I apologize for that. Thank you. I get so caught. I just say that I completely forgot that he needs to be next. I apologize for doing this. But now you have the time to say it, okay? You just cover and you're here. Thank you.
So, my name is Lamont Raymond Williams. I'm the candidate running to represent District 9. Our students deserve better. I can't say that enough. My story with CPS is, in my household with it's 5 of us, my 4 brothers and sisters. I got to see the best of CPS, and sharing the same address my entire life with my siblings, I got to see the worst of CPS. I'm here in front of you now because I'm a proud product and alum of CPS. I was at Clisso for Montessori program, K through 5, Ogden for pre-IB, Lincoln Park for the IB program. I had the best CPS had to offer. My siblings, not so much. And the only difference was a test score and the location of our school. I attended schools all over the city, in the Gold Coast and Lincoln Park neighborhood. My sister and brother, they attended the local neighborhood school. That should never be the case. We should have the same quality education, same access to curriculum, same access to all the different benefits that a Gold Coast school has, a Southwest Side Chicago school should have. I want to be that candidate that represents us, the working class, the middle class Chicagoans, the true Chicagoans who understand what it's like to send their kids to public school. Because as I've said in other forums, and I'll continue to say even after the election, most folks in Chicago don't have a choice beyond public school. So if public school is going to be your only choice, let's make public school the best choice. I'm Lamont Raymond Williams. I'm running to represent District 9. And again, I believe, and I know you all do too, our students deserve better.
And because we all believe on that, and that's the reason that we are all here, because we believe our students deserve better. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you. And we'll continue with the agenda with Adriana.
Let's give our candidates one more round of applause. tonight, for those of us that put this meeting together, was an opportunity to reflect and learn about how we think about public life. By the way, we'd like to ask you guys to stay. We're not going to take a long time. I know there will be some individual questions people will want to ask you afterwards. I talked earlier about how important public life was at Swop. And this was a wake-up for us. We expected 6 or 7 people here tonight. And we're also conscious this is the first time that this position is going to exist in an elected way. Our sense is we're known as an organization that can be very confrontational or we can be very relational. And our sense, at least tonight, is that maybe there's some coaching that needs to be done in terms of encouraging more recognition of the responsibility of this position and the roles that are called for. Because not to show up, to say you're going to be here and then wait until the organization calls the evening before is not accountable. And this position won't work unless there's trust and accountability. And I should distinguish that kind of response from several people who said, I just can't be there. I'd really like to meet with you guys. That's different. But we have to digest that and figure out as a team. I mean, in the room tonight, we have parent leaders that stand with probably 20, 30 other parents at their respective schools. We have a principal here this evening. We have administrators from another school. We have people from faith institutions. So, and young leaders from emergent organizations in Chicago Lawn and Inglewood. So it's really important to engage each other because of the position that you guys are going to have. So I think the key lesson out of tonight is how important trust and accountability are and what we need to do to equip people that we're going to elect to be that way with us. So
I think that was really well said, Jeff, and thank you for making that grounding for us to recognize that we have power in this room, and it is up to us what we do with that power, right? We have 19 schools present, key leaders from those 19 schools. We have more than 7 key local faith institutions present. We have key leaders within Swop, such as health ambassadors, immigration ambassadors, community workers, principals, and so on that have already been named. We can make a difference because we, all of us here present, are people who people listen to. And that puts us at an advantage to make a change. And it's, again, what are we willing to do about this? We came together because we thought this was really important, and we are not going to take it lightly. November 5th is election day, and early voting starts October 21st for our neighborhood. So we got to get to it, right? If any of us here present don't know how to or where to early vote, reach out to the person who invited you here today and have a conversation with them to engage in how to learn that information together. Additionally, we know that we must vote. And we know the importance of our Get Out the Vote efforts. Whether we can vote or not, all of us can push people to get out to vote. And so it's really, really important to really name that commitment. So I'm going to ask you, how many people here are willing to commit to get people in their community out to vote? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay. And how many people here are willing to continue to learn and engage in the information that we are learning here today? Raise your hand. All right. So, how many people are able to follow this conversation will determine how much power we get to it, right? We are having an action on October 10th where we're coming together to plan our Get Out the Vote efforts for the rest of the time until Election Day. So how many people commit to join us on October 10th to plan this effort with us? Sounds good. Thank you. Yes.
I'm actively door knocking, y'all. So.
And if y'all know Swop, as an organization, we teach that a yes means yes and a no means no. So we are holding you to that. And so thinking through this, right, you raise your hand about coming the 10th. You raise your hand about getting people out to vote and getting yourself out to vote if you can vote. This is a real opportunity to exercise and demonstrate our power. So let's be thinking about how we can vote, and we can vote for our collective interests that get our community to where it needs to be. So we want to stay in touch. We want to keep communicating. So I'm going to ask you to get out your phone, get out your cell phone right now. Y'all have your phone out? Okay. I need you all to text GOTV to the phone number on the screen, 833-771-2596. Again, get out your phone, everybody. We want to stay in touch, so this is really key. Text GOTV to the phone number 833-771-2596. All right, I'm going to give you all a minute to do that. I've already tested it, so I'm not going to do it right now.
Hey, Adriana, remind people that they don't have service because sometimes we don't get service down.
Yeah, if you don't get service here, either take a picture or type in the phone number and then the text, send it. Even if it doesn't send, it'll stay within your text messages, so you can do it again when you get out of here. And raise your hand if you need support, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or how to open your text. And all right. Everybody done texting? Did y'all receive a message back? Raise your hand if you received the message back. Great. So this will help us to stay in touch, because we want to use this text thread to be able to not bombard you with text, but let you know about our Get Out the Vote efforts, and specifically remind you about our action on October 10th. So thank you for signing up for that. The next thing, and almost the last thing, is that I'm going to ask you all to also scan a QR code that you see on the screen. This QR code is really helpful if you care about what candidates have to say. We told you at the beginning that we asked candidates a set of questions based on our common values, and they answered those questions, including the candidates present here today. So scan that QR code, and it'll lead you to the document that outlines their exact responses to these issues we care about. If you, again, don't have signal, can't figure out the QR code, on your way out, we will have people that can help you to scan it and also to take a picture to scan later. And if you don't get success with that, again, talk to the person who invited you here today so that we can get that done. Everybody good with the QR code? Awesome. This has been a great action. I really thank everyone for being here. And we are feeling ready to get this information out to others, correct? I said, are we ready to get out the vote in our community? Yes. That's what I want to hear. So thank you, everyone. Housekeeping, on your way out, scan the QR code. If you didn't sign in, please sign in, and please return any interpretation equipment if you used any. Thank you, everyone, for being here. There will be a debrief in 5 minutes. Everyone is welcome to stay for that debrief if you'd like. Otherwise, we have adjourned this meeting. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you for following up, and I look forward to hear more about the schools and the families you serve. And in which communities? Oh, okay. I'm familiar with the back of the areas when I work for a county commissioner. San Miguel. We did there when I was with Commissioner Almanaya's office. We will do a food drive out of San Miguel. Pandemic, so they like the testing of vaccines over in the legitimate basis. And that's how I'm like familiar with the back of the yard, so I'm doing. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Likewise. See you. Desafortunadamente, la manera que lo pasaron en Springfield fue que lo limitaron y por eso es importante que las personas, que los vecinos a veces se la pueden, oh, pero yo ya tengo niñas ahí en las que puede que tengan esa oportunidad de votar. No sabemos que nuestros estudiantes ahí en Chicago, pues apuntan a las comunidades más públicas son de la
You can keep with your conversations, but we'll get started on our debrief in a minute or so, so please start gathering this way if you'd like to be a part of the debrief. Thank you.
who's gonna do the debrief to come together here?
If we could start the debrief, that would be good and respectful of everybody's time.
Like, should I use the mic or we're good? Okay. Well, everyone, if we can kind of funnel in. Great job, everyone. This was very energizing, at least to me. I can speak for myself, and I felt all very engaged. So let's start by naming what was it. What was We're starting the debrief, and I'm naming, if we can start by naming what works from this action. ¿Necesitan español? Estamos haciendo una evaluación y la primera pregunta, reconocí que hicimos un gran trabajo, pero hablemos específicamente. Nombren cosas que funcionaron.
Pero estuvieron bien.
Que estuvieron bien.
Time. Time went really well.
The timekeeper.
Good job, good job. The translator, I was listening, I think somebody behind me was with the headset, and I was listening like clear and loud.
Okay. Translator.
El que se nos estaba discutiendo al lugar aquí, porque a veces llegas y no sabes dónde.
Team floor and getting people here, the signage and everything worked really well. Thank you. What other things work? ¿Qué más funcionó bien?
The agenda flow. The agenda flow.
La agenda fluyó. Other things that worked?
I think good responses from candidates. I mean, I don't like good responses, but they were like to the point. They were not like going, that's what I meant.
I think it was great to have the questions on the screen, so in Spanish and English, so for the non-English speakers, so they know what the question was, even if they were hearing, so they can see it.
Turnout, we need specific people that turn out. Everybody and everything that they
Okay.
I think the space, we always kind of grumpy about the space, it really worked tonight.
Yes, I love the accessibility and be able to just come, find parking, get in the building without having to struggle at all.
The sound was really good.
Sound worked really well. Yay!
Say that again.
Pretty sure I know who was in charge. El sonido funcionó muy bien, ¿verdad? Great. We can continue.
Let's call out Ana Laura and Tanisha for the job on that.
Thank you, yes. Other people you'd like to call out for their participation or leadership in this?
Jeff.
Jeff?
Kind of, we need that from Jeff to see, like, we know Jeff is behind everything, but this time for community members and leaders see Jeff, the role of, I know Adriana, but I think that worked.
But I would say honestly, I wasn't behind everything tonight. Adriana really led when it was crucial in terms of shaping the agenda.
And I would like to call Jasmine. Team floor, like really well, making sure everybody has what they need, making sure like everything's covered, good communication, bringing water to people. So she was on top of like the team floor. So I would like to call out Jasmine.
All of this technical stuff was really helpful tonight, and I don't even know who to thank for that. I'm assuming. And Chris, in terms of, I think having something to do.